Welcome back to the corner, aka Dub's Corner, where we sell statistics and knowledge and not dope and pussy. Um, I'm a little late. It has been an extremely busy week in this damn household of mine. I did get everything done that we need to get done, but we got a lot of football to talk about. We had some great games. We had Georgia, Tennessee. We had Vandy at South Carolina. We had Notre Dame, Texas A&M, on top of plenty of other people to look at. And we're going to talk about all that today. On top of week 2 of the NFL season, did nothing to tell us that week 1 of the NFL season is a lying whore. But we figured out a couple of things about some teams in the NFL now that they've got, close to 200 snaps up under their belt. First off, we're going to start with Dawgs Volunteers. Georgia at Tennessee, number 6 versus number 15. Tennessee's quarterback, Aguilar, has looked so good this year. Georgia gets out of here 44-41, leaves Neyland with a win on a last-second touchdown thanks to a missed last-second field goal. So we're gonna dive into this game actually a little bit. I do not bet on the Dogs. I never bet on the Dogs. Never have. Never will. It's a biased bet. You betting with your heart. You more than likely gonna lose your money. Georgia's stat leaders. We got Gunnar Stockton, 23 for 31, 304, 3 touchdowns, 1 rushing, 2 passing, and 13 for 38 on the yard, on the ground. Took some shots. Got his ass beat. 1 fumble, no picks. So, we love to see it. Another thing on Gunnar is that this was about a minute and a half, 2 minutes left in the first half. Gunnar was 5 for 10 with 110. The whole storyline on Gunnar coming into this week is Georgia hadn't had a single play over 30 yards since the first quarter of week 1. So the deep ball was there. They were doing nothing but testing it the whole time. So I love to see that out of Gunnar. With that being said, Colby Young, receiver for Georgia, 4 for 73, another good game. They were one of those highlighted players before the game. Zach Branch, so freaking good in open space. He is an absolute problem. His storyline was that he was a good returner. These little bubble screens and some of these slants, that boy is so fast, and he's not slot small quick. This boy, he's thick. He is built. I wouldn't want to stand in front of him, So I'm very excited to see what Zach Branch does for the rest of the year, especially in some of these big games we got coming up. Alabama at home, Texas at home. We've got Florida. Can't sleep on them. You can never sleep on those rivalry games. It is not ever a gimme game. Ask Auburn, Alabama, Carolina, Vandy. You know what I mean? It's never safe in the SEC around here. Georgia did bring in Puglisi at the end of the first half for a Hail Mary from I want to say their own 49, so 51-yard pass. So I don't love that, but Puglisi looks good every time he's came in. Now, defense looked amazing. The only thing that I can say for this defense in this game, knock the fucking ball down. And some of these guys, it's their first big game. They want to make that big play. They watched Malachi Starks made some of these plays while these boys have been on the bench. They want a piece. They want a piece of that shit. So, in my opinion, there are 2 plays in this game. And when we get into the Tennessee stats, we'll talk about it a little bit more. But I think there's 2 plays in this game that if these Georgia safeties and cornerbacks maybe just knock the ball down, instead of going for the pick, just go for the deflection, which in Georgia history, that doesn't go very fucking well either. Auburn back in the day, Alabama last year, just in Monday morning quarterback in here, but I'm sure they got told the same thing. But I think if those two deep balls don't get caught and maybe we just knock them down, that there is no overtime in the game. The whole momentum of the game shifts. I think Georgia's defense, we got C.J. Allen with 11 tackles, Kyron Jones with 10, Raylan Wilson with 9. Love to see that out of your linebackers, just flying all. C.J. Allen moves over. I've been waiting for 2 years to see C.J. Allen get this middle linebacking start, but he just reminds me of damn, if I wouldn't have said nothing, middle linebacker for the Ravens, it'll come to me, but he just reminds me of him so much. Roquan Smith, there we go. He reminds me of Roquan so much with the way he hits holes, the way he floats and just shoots through a hole, getting running backs. And he's out there in coverage too. You know, defense looks phenomenal. Aguero, KJ Bolden, both with picks, looked great. Raylan Everett, man, there's something going on with Everett that I need. Daylon Everett, I just need him. He had 6 tackles, which you don't love to see your cornerback with too many tackles. That means somebody's not doing their job if your defensive backs have tackles. You know, too many. Tennessee, we'll move over to Tennessee. Tennessee offensively, Aguilar, I called him Aguero earlier. No. Joey Aguilar, 24 for 36, 371, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. Brazel, the second, 6 receptions, 177, 3 touchdowns. He had a 70-yarder and a 50-yarder. Both those are the jump balls that I think if they get knocked down, it's a different game. That is 120 yards you're taking out of that offense in 2 plays. You know, young defense got a big one out of the way. This was one of our only road games, so the Dogs will be all right. Staley, 9 for 97 with a touchdown. Like I said, missed field goal in regulation. That was that boy's first ever game on the line, game-winning kick in his collegiate career. I mean, he put the ass behind it, boys. Man, you know he feels like shit today. Just some fast facts, some stuff I saw. McCray as well, before we get into that. McCray, transfer from Iowa State, 2 touchdowns, had the game-winning touchdown at the end. Cannot forget to shout him out for the Dogs. Nate Frazier's overtime run right there at the beginning, down to the 3, was the exact same play. I mean, it was like seeing a flashback of Sony Michel's overtime run to send us to the Natty in 2017 against Oklahoma. I mean, I don't know exactly, but it looked like the exact same play, man. It was beautiful. Now, a little fast fact. Tennessee coming into this game was averaging 26.1 seconds between each snap. Kirby famous for absolutely dominating when it comes to slowing the game down and making subs and having, like you probably have heard every Dog fan say, our backups and our third strings could play in the SEC, start at any other SEC school, you know. He's subbing 3 and 4 guys at a time. And shoot, there's sometimes I was seeing this boy the entire front 7. All the linebackers, all front 4, gone. Just to slow the game down. There's just nothing that you can do. It was a slugfest, guys. That was a a very good game to watch. But surprisingly, it was the most confident I've felt in a game, in a dog game that close, and probably in like the last 3 years, honestly. We're going to move over to the first game that I thought was going to be an upset, and was. I had no doubt in my mind that Georgia Tech could get this pulled off. Now, the way that they did it, absolutely not. Had no idea. Tech took a 13-0 lead very fast in the first half. Clemson turned the ball over in the red zone in the second quarter on the way to score. Just sloppy. Bryant Wesco, 100% is going to be a first-round pick, will be a top receiver in the NFL in the next 4 or 5 years. That boy is a problem. It is the only reason that Clemson has been in any of these games at all. Coming into this game, they were absolutely last in every single stat category running-wise. They have no running game. They were averaging like 34 yards a game on the ground. You can't have that. You cannot have that. Tech runs the Philly special for 2 in the fourth quarter, just absolutely playing with Dabo. They had 2 4 to 5 minute drives in the second half that were, now the first one they ended up having a turnover and didn't get any points out of it, but Clemson shit the bed anyways, didn't do anything with it. Georgia Tech gets the ball, comes back down another 70 yards, milks another 4 to 5 minutes off the clock. That was an absolute clock management beauty. Tech is not the Tech of 08, of the early 2000s. These boys are playing football. I mean, with that being said, Haynes King, 20 for 28, 211 through the air, no picks, 25 for 103 on the ground with a touchdown, no turnovers. Yes, 300 yards of offense from your quarterback. And at Georgia Tech, that's not, but at Tech, that is unheard of. Haynes King is a dog. Was taking hits. He's out there trying to win. And the ACC is 100% up for grabs right now. They're ready for it. Clemson's running back, Adam Randall, 15 for 80 with a touchdown. His size, the way he runs his game, I enjoy it. That was the first time he really caught my eye in that game. The only reason they were in that game. Bryant Wesco, 7 for 126 and a touchdown. Klubnik, 15 of 26, 207 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 passing, 1 rushing, with a pick. Clemson only had 5 players with a reception. When you're not running the ball, you need to be throwing it. And this right here, you had 207 yards and 126 of it was to one receiver, and you only had 5 players with a reception at all. And that receiver also had almost half of your completions. I mean, you're not going to win in the ACC, let alone in the playoffs, when you're not touching the portal or anything. Dabo's damn near taunting the university. If they want me gone, I'll go. The boy is just asking to get kicked. Asking to get chat banned, We'll move on. Notre Dame. Georgia Tech gets out of that game 24-21 on a last-second field goal. The beauty of a last-second field goal. Number 18, Notre Dame, playing number 16, Texas A&M. Notre Dame. Number 8, Notre Dame. I'm sorry. Notre Dame blocks a punt for a touchdown to start the game, boys. To start the game. Honestly. You as soon as that happens, you're watching the game, you're just like, it's over with. They got it together. With that being said, after that, the game was just sloppy. Carr had a pick. Marcel Reed threw the ball damn near 40 times, only had 17 completions. Coming into the season, I had so much hype for Marcel Reed. I thought he was going to be so much better than he is. Had 5 or 6 throws that if it's put in the right place, I don't even want to say if they caught, but if put in the right place, they're scoring. Puts them in a better place, mood pickup. I mean, missing 20-yard gains, wide open guys, on some Caleb Williams stuff. Just the accuracy is a problem. 3 of them were in that second half. Down to the dang fourth quarter, they just could not complete some of those throws. But then they get the flag, come back and get it done with the touchdown to the tight end. Now, Reed saved by receivers in the last second flag and his running back. We'll get into stats in a second. CJ Carr did very well. I'm excited to see what he does with the rest of the year. Notre Dame does not have a great schedule to complement 0-2 to start the season in 2 big games, They've got Purdue. They're at Arkansas. They got Boise State and NC State and the supposed best offense in the nation in USC. They are at Boston College and at Pitt, with Syracuse at home and at Samford. Now, Boston College, Pitt, and Syracuse, one of those 3 every single year has an upset in college football and shock somebody. And it's always in an ACC game. And not to mention at Stanford at the end of the year with Andrew Luck running the show. Notre Dame has 0 room to breathe after this loss. CJ Carr, 20 for 32, 293 yards, a touchdown and an interception. Jeremiah Love, 23 for 94 on the ground, 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing and a receiving touchdown. I mean, those Jahmyr Gibbs, James Cook running backs nowadays are doing very fine for themselves. So, and then Price as well with 2 touchdowns on 68 yards on the ground. So, Notre Dame, I think, looks okay, but with that schedule, they're going to have to beat the shit out of every single person that they play for the rest of the year. None of these teams besides USC at number 25 is ranked. So there's nowhere on this list that tells me anything other than they're not. They have to win. And they have to win decisively. So, going into ACC play, they're going to have to get it done. Texas A&M for the rest of the season. Next week, they've got Auburn at home. They've got Mississippi State and Florida at home as well. And then they got 3 away games. Arkansas, number 3 LSU, number 3 Missouri, and then they got South Carolina and Samford at home. And then they end the year at Texas. I very much think that Texas A&M could finish the season with 4 or 5 losses. It's very possible. Marcel Reed, like I said, 17 for 37, 2 touchdown passes. Moss, 20 for 81, 3 touchdowns. Running back absolutely saved them. And then Craver, 7 receptions for 207 yards, a touchdown, an 86-yarder to start the game for them right after the block punt. Really get it together after the block punt. Marcel Reed, 360 yards and 207 of them were to Craver. Half of those were damn near on one play to start the game. I didn't love what I haven't loved what I've seen out of Marcel Reed the first 3 years of the season. First 3 weeks of the season, Jesus, William, get it together. KC Concepcion, honorable mention, 4 receptions for 82 yards. Yeah, boys, they still have Notre Dame ranked in the top 24, but we'll get to that later after this. Vanderbilt at South Carolina. I had them for an upset as well. In my opinion, I thought it was going to be a shootout, and I thought that Carolina was going to, unless they started hot, that they weren't going to be able to get the win. But, I mean, they scored quick in the first quarter. Got the ball, went down, scored within 3 minutes. And then after that, nothing. Sellers leaves with a concussion. South Carolina coming into this game was last in total offense, last in rushing offense. It had the most sacks given up, last in first downs, second to last in third down conversions. They were averaging 13.6 points per game. That ain't going to get it done when we've seen 2 SEC games end in the 40s. It's just not. You got to score, especially with how hyped this offense was coming into the season. Let's hope Sellers is going to be okay. There was a lot of. He's super young. I mean, he's got a lot to learn. So I think he'll get it together, but we just hope he gets that concussion handled. That's been a very big problem with quarterbacks, especially running quarterbacks like him. South Carolina for the rest of the year does not have a lot of room to breathe. SEC play alone, they've got they're at number 3 Missouri, they're at number 3 LSU, they've got number 11 and number 14 Alabama back to back at home, and then they're at Ole Miss and at A&M to end the year. So if Sellers isn't in, boys, this Carolina's got a long year for the rest of the year. It's going to be tough. And then Vandy, they've got Vandy ranked number 20 right now coming out of this week. I am not going to give Vandy a single bit of hope in terms of playoff bound until they play at Bama October 4th. And there are a couple of games after that too, but I'm not even going to bat an eye at the Commodores until next month. So some interesting stat lines after that throughout college football I got right here. Florida's DJ Lagway, man, threw the ball 50 freaking times. Had 3 receivers with 7 catches. 33 for 49 Lagway was, 287 yards, a touchdown, and he had 5 interceptions. LSU ate his ass up. On the other side of the ball, LSU's Newsmaya, 15 for 27, 220 yards, touchdown and a pick. Not much going on. Caden Durham, 15 for 93. I don't know why. I love this back. He reminds me of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, just a small, low to the ground, I'm going to run smack into you type of guy. LSU's got to turn some of those 5 interceptions into points. They only won the game 20-10. I mean, you've got to turn 5. You could have turned every single one of those into a field goal and damn near scored more points than they did. So they've got to be able to move the ball a little bit more. Nussmeier, another kid who had so much hype coming into the season. Last year had dang near 3,000, maybe 4,000 yards. Like I said, week 1, he's just the quietest, efficient quarterback. But next, we got Clemson's Chambliss. Ole Miss's Chambliss. Backup quarterback with Austin Simmons out with a little bit of an injury. We've got some drama, in my opinion, down there. If I was Lane Kiffin, I don't know why I got Austin Simmons in, because this Chambliss boy 21 for 29, 353 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 passing, 1 rushing. Was 15 for 62 on the ground. The boy looked phenomenal. He's bigger than Simmons. Now I don't know what his class is, but I know Simmons is very young. So I don't really get why they don't have Chambliss starting, because there's been some questions with Simmons in the first 2 weeks. So be watching out there at Ole Miss. Oxford might be he might be on a little short leash. Simmons is. Alabama, we got 2 guys from Alabama to talk about today. Ty Simmons, 24 for 29, 382 yards, 4 passing touchdowns. Now, I said week 1 with that Florida State game, there is absolutely no reason anybody should be saying that Ty Simpson is the reason Alabama lost to Florida State, because he wasn't. The kid is a baller. He's got the heart for it. He's got the arm for it. So we'll see what he does going on from here. But Ryan Williams, 5 for 165, 2 touchdowns. I in my opinion think that Ryan Williams is better than Jeremiah Smith. I said it. I think he's better. I think with the way the NFL's going now, I think he'll be better. Now, I ain't talking rings, but I think he's going to be more efficient, better used in the NFL. Now let's move on to my absolute favorite offense in the nation. Now, they didn't play anybody crazy, but Texas Tech, Baron Morton, 23 for 35. 464 yards, 4 touchdown passes, 1 pick. Running back Coy Eakins, 6 for 139 and a touchdown. Jacoby Williams, 7 for 116 and a touchdown. Terrence Carter Jr., 6 for 102 yards and a touchdown. And then there was receiver Caleb Douglas with another touchdown on 1 reception for 61 yards on a dime. This offense is just so fun to watch. I said week 1 they had an alumni put so much money into them. I'm very excited to see. They've got Utah next week. Number 16 Utah, I believe. We'll cover that in a second as well. But yeah, number 16 Utah this week. That's their only ranked matchup for the rest of the year. And they're in a conference, Kansas, K-State, who lost this week. I have no idea what's going on at K-State. Avery Johnson needs to get it together. There was something about their running back was out, but he supposedly had got back this week. So Kansas State, man, so much hype. Put them in the Dublin game. I mean, you see Iowa State also in the Dublin game getting it done. We'll talk about them later. But if they get past Utah, they are at Utah as well. If Texas Tech gets out of Utah with a win, we will 100% be talking about them in the top 12 at the end of the year. 100%. With that being said, we're going to talk about upcoming games for college football this week. And I'm going to drop another Saturday video like I did last week and pick some of my upsets, who I think maybe if there is going to be any upsets. Not too many that I see on my thing today. Texas Tech, number 17 versus number 16 Utah. My favorite offense, the only test they've got for the rest of the year. I've got Texas Tech, number 22 Auburn at number 11 Oklahoma in Norman. SEC football. Feels weird to say that Auburn at Oklahoma is an SEC game. Still is not registered for when it comes to Oklahoma, but I give it to Oklahoma. I don't see Auburn pulling off an upset against Oklahoma this year. Absolutely not. I might see it against Alabama late in the year. We'll see what Alabama does for the rest of the year. Number 22 Michigan at Nebraska with the Cornhuskers It'll be two very young quarterbacks with a lot of hype. One with a little bit of hate. I think that if Michigan comes out and looks like they did this past week, they'll be fine. Bryce Underwood looked way better. It looked like he might have came out of Norman with an ass whooping and started acting right. You know what I mean? Like his mama done whipped him into obedience. That beat his ass into obedience. We're gonna move past that. We got Purdue at Notre Dame, number 24 Notre Dame as well, still ranked at 0-2. Notre Dame, man. Purdue is another team that shocks them. Shocks Notre Dame every now and then. Shocks Ohio State every now and then. I don't have too much intel on Purdue. I'll have a little bit more coming Saturday. Carolina at Missouri. If Sellers plays, then I think he'll get his Jazz together. They might pull off the upset there. But if not, if Sellers doesn't play, it's Missouri all day, playing at home. Offense looks okay. Defense is always fast. Florida at Miami, number 4 Miami. Belt to ass, getting fucked up. But as a Dog fan, I always love to see Florida lose. So that'll be very fun. It'll be super, super fun. Illinois, number 9 Illinois at number 19 Indiana. We got Altmaier versus the Mendoza brothers. It's gonna be fun to see that. That's gonna be. It's not a matchup that's normally ranked that high. It's not a matchup that is normally on the watchtower. So, and then finally we got Michigan State at USC. Now, USC is supposedly the best offense in the nation. They are scoring like 55.5 points a game. So, they're doing perfectly fine for themselves right now. We're going to move on to this NFL review, boys. Week 2. Like I said, week 1 is a liar. She did not tell us the truth. The Packers still look good. They still look like my best team in the league. 27-18 over Washington. They get the win. Now, here is my opinion, is that Micah Parsons is legitimately taking epidural shots, like what pregnant women get to give birth, to numb themselves. That takes a toll on your body. And he was already having issues. I don't see Micah not sitting out time. Now, if he can stick through it long enough for him to, how do I say this? If they can keep Micah and get enough wins, let's say he plays till week 8, and they're 8-0, sit him for 4 weeks. Give him a month off, bring him back in for the last 5 games of the season, shift that. I don't see Micah not sitting out some time this year with having that much of a back problem. So, with that being said, they have the Browns this week, and they could have an easy game. Another game, he's not playing as much. Another game, maybe you sit him. You don't need him. Why play him? The Bills beat the shit out of the Jets, 30-10. Fields leaves with a concussion, goes into concussion protocol. He has been ruled out this week. Tyrod Taylor is going to be getting the start. Bills survive Jags after Burrow goes down with turf toe. They get the win 31-27 because Jamar Chase is an absolute dog in the first 3 quarters. And then they quieted him down in the 4th, but they get it done. Travis Hunter with damn near 85 snaps. I believe it was 43 and 42 offensive-defensive split after playing only, I believe, 8 snaps on defense week 1 against, I can't remember who they played, but that's a fun. I love to see that they actually are letting him play. But 40 snaps each side, that's a full slate, boys. That's a full slate. Like, that is something that we don't see happen. So, I'm very excited to see if they keep that up. Will they shift it? Maybe they're doing it depending on the team, you know? So, Dolphins lose a close one to the Patriots. This was my favorite one to watch this week. They get the win. Patriots get the win 33-27. Tua looked better, but still just making so many dumb throws. Like the fourth quarter interception, he was going to Tyreek. It's 3 yards behind him. Tyreek is legitimately, like I said after last week, after coming out at the end of the year and being like, I'm out, I want to be off this team, and then having to apologize, he's trying to hold his tongue as much as he can, but good Lord, Tua is testing his patience. He's testing him. And so he goes, Tua, hold on, lost my place. Oh, they had Patriots and Dolphins both took punt returns and kick returns back for touchdowns, back-to-back plays in the second half, exchanging leads in the process. I mean, it was a very exciting coming out of halftime. That game was exciting to watch. Dallas squeaks one away from the Giants. Just another one, second half. Just slugfest, shot for shot, deep to the end zone. Touchdown. 40-yard touchdown here. 30-yard bomb here. I mean, it was fun to watch. The Giants were platooning quarterbacks by play in the fourth quarter with 3 minutes left. Down. I don't understand why we aren't putting a little bit more respect on Russell Wilson's name, dude. 450 yards and 4 touchdowns. You can't hate on that. Russ is getting paid for a freaking reason. And Dallas, of course, with nothing going on. And then Neighbors and Robinson together 300 yards. On top of New York's defense supposedly being good, now you're giving up 40 points a game. I have questions on that. Lions beat the shit out of the Bears. 52-21 in a bounce-back game. St. Brown, what is that? 10 for 115, 3 touchdowns. J-Mo, 2 for 108 and a touchdown. Gibbs, 12 for 94 and a touchdown. Does that Lions offense look like the Lions offense of last year? And did nothing but prove that maybe that Packers defense is absolutely 100% positively the best in the league. So we love that. Seahawks shocked the Steelers 31-17. Walker 13 for 105. Jackson, Smith, and Jigba 8 for 103. Darnold 300-yard game. It's like 295, but we'll give it to him. Threw 2 picks though. Had 2 touchdowns, but he threw 2 picks. We don't love to see that, but Steelers obviously didn't turn it into much. Colts survive an awkward game in Denver, 29-28 on a last-second field goal. Daniel Jones, 316 yards and a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor, 25 carries for 165 yards. Cam Bynum with another pick and another absolute beautiful celebration with Bluey. Panthers fight in the second half. Damn near complete the comeback. If I was the coach of the Panthers, Bryce Young's ass would have been on that damn bench at halftime. I questioned why he has not been benched yet. I don't understand why he's not been benched yet, but He proved me wrong in the second half. Dang near brings them back, gets them back in the game, but couldn't get it done. Not a too fun game to watch, but they almost complete the second half comeback. So what do you know? Eagles win the rematch of the Super Bowl with the Chiefs on 100 passing yards. Both quarterbacks didn't even combine for 300 yards passing. It was better than the Super Bowl on the Chiefs' end. They didn't get the win, but they definitely looked better than they did at the end of the year last year. With that being said, the game just wasn't too fun to watch. The Eagles had Patrick Mahomes running for his life the entire game. Bucks get a win on Monday Night Football because Baker's a fucking dog. He's an absolute thug nasty king. The man got ice in his veins. Like, he just rips heads off and shits down throats. The kid he gets the job done. You can't hate on that. You cannot hate. Houston's got to figure something out on offense. Chubb is the leading rusher on their offense again. Pass heavy. Derwin James having Chargers get another win against Las Vegas on Monday Night Football. 2 Monday Night Football games. Very fun to watch. Now, that Chargers offense, I am a Justin Herbert fan. I have been a Justin Herbert fan. I'm not going to say Oregon because I could not stand Oregon at the time. But I love that he is a giant quarterback. He has got an arm. As we've seen, he's not afraid to get his bell rung. He's not afraid to run the ball. With him slinging the ball, Quentin Johnston has finally come out and gotten some shit done for the first time since he was at TCU, to be honest with you. I love it. The Chargers offense looks very good. Now, they're going to have another test coming up this week, but I think the Chargers are going to be a problem for a lot of people this week. And we're going to get into NFL Week 3 coming up. Saturday, I will have a little bit more in-depth about the matchups for college football and the NFL. Miami at Buffalo tonight, Thursday Night Football. Miami, get your shit together or it's going to be a blowout. I don't know what to say. Who's really real? This is a prove it or shut up game, in my opinion. Pittsburgh at Patriots. I'm going to give it to the Patriots, honestly, unless Pittsburgh looks like they did week 1 and they get Jaylen Warren a little bit more involved early and they really start slinging the rock. They need to get DK involved, but this is another problem he had in Seattle. I don't know. I don't want to say it, but we'll take a little deeper look at it Saturday morning. Las Vegas at Washington. Both of these teams are coming off rough losses where they just didn't look like people had expected them to look and coming out of week 1. Me personally, I'm giving it to Washington. There's been a little bit too much shit talking on Jaden Daniels' name. I think Washington comes out and gets it done. I think it'll be a close one, though. It'll be very close. We've got Rams at Eagles. The Eagles they've got a problem. They cannot throw the football right now. So, unless they can throw the football, I don't see them beating the Rams at all, especially with the Rams offense being as hot as it is. Puka with 2 games in a row with 100 yards, and Devontae with a touchdown last week. Matthew Stafford being Matthew Stafford, whatever you want to call him. Love him. I'm giving it to the Rams. Houston at Jaguars. Jaguars coming off a hot game. Trevor Lawrence looked good. Running back week 1, ETN Jr. looked very good. So, and Houston, no offense at all right now. So I'm definitely giving this possibly to the Jags. I think I'm going to make my final decision by Saturday, but as of right now, I'm giving it to the Jags. At home as well. Atlanta at Carolina. Carolina had a good second half, but and Atlanta, Bijan had like 140 yards or something. Not talk about that game. Yeah. Vikings. McCarthy looked like shit. Bijan had 143 yards, and their new kicker had 5 field goals. So Atlanta's offense coming off a very, very rough looking week 2. So it's going to be whoever starts off hot is going to finish. I think we'll finish with the lead. Both these guys figured something out last week. So Dallas at Chicago. Dallas coming off a game where they had to take it down to the wire. Chicago 0-2 to start the season again, man. Just what are you gonna do? They've had some rough matchups, but Caleb Williams not looking the greatest. I'm giving this to Dallas. Honestly, I think they get out of there with the win. I hate to say it, but I think they do. Kansas City at the New York Giants. Kansas City's 3rd primetime game of the season. New York's offense looked very good. Russ coming off a 450-yard game. You can't hate on it, man. You cannot hate on it. You can't. Me personally, though, I'm giving it to the Giants. KC's been struggling. They have not gotten it together. I'm giving it to the Giants. I really struggled on that one. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but we'll take a look. But as of right now, we got the Giants. That's our recap and review for this past week and this week coming up. We'll drop another more in-depth for this week coming up for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Probably talk a little bit about this game tonight, depending on how interesting it is. I just think that the Bills, being the Bills, are going to handle the Dolphins. So let's go, boys. Go Dogs. We got a break this week, so I am going to definitely be able to take a step back and just watch some football. So the video should be out a little bit earlier next week. So deuces, boys.